What's up, guys? Tugi here, back again. This is my Quebec City Nordiques franchise mode here on NHL 17, and in this episode, we are moving on. It is Season 5. Season 4 is in the rearview mirror, never to be discussed again. It never happened. I don't even know what you're talking about. What's Season 4? This is Season 4. This isn't Season 5. This is Season 4, and we have a great team now. I'm not going to try to just sneak it past you. I've changed a couple player types. Matt Duchene's back to a playmaker. I want to see what he can do. Aside from that, Isaac Lutzer has been changed from a playmaker to a two-way. I feel like his defense category is insane. He'd probably still be a good playmaker too. But I don't know. I want to see what he can do. And everyone else remains the same. Kevin Stenlund's been switched. And David Savard's back to a two-way. So we will see what he can do. Basically, I'm excited for what this team can do. I'm excited for what the AHL team can do as well. We have a very strong team, despite some of the lower overalls. I'm just very concerned that this team is going to fail to live up to expectation. That happened in Season 3, where we were deemed with the franchise tag, and we're supposed to be true cup contenders, and we didn't even make the playoffs, and we didn't get off to the best of starts here, losing to the Coyotes 6-3 in our season opener. We start the season on a Western road trip. Joonas Korpisalo with an 857. He had 30 saves in the game, so obviously not the best defensive performance, which could be a problem. Obviously having Ralph Jarrett and Julius Bergman as the third pairing could be a problem. Can we get the win against the San Jose Sharks, though? Please? Okay, 2-1 shootout win. Good. You know what? No, we'll put Korpisalo back in. I was tempted to put Markstrom in, but we got to roll with our main man, Korpisalo, for a pretty decent part of the season. But I am very happy with Markstrom, that is for sure. But I should say, though, too, this team does have as many question marks as any team we've had already. It's arguably the best team we have had. But what is somebody like Kai Gorodov going to do? What's Michael Dal Colle going to do? Line, Ehlers, now that they are here. Obviously, Kai Gorodov doesn't fit this, but the other three, they're here now for the full season. So are they going to be able to live up to the hype? Like, we have gigantic expectations. Like, if we were to miss the playoffs this year, and I know, I'm probably jinxing it, but if we were to miss the playoffs this year, that would be an absolute disaster. I don't really feel the need to scout goalies, so we'll go 3 weeks rushing forwards and see what happens. But yeah, Korpisalo 2-1-1 in those 4 games, so that's not terrible. But again, we are probably going to be stuck in a very tough division. But let's take a look here. Markstrom will get this next game, and Korpisalo will be in, and I'm going to take a quick look at the player stats here. I might put Line up on the top line. 3-2-1, now 4-2-1, after beating the Ottawa Senators. So let's take a look here. And I'm probably going to jump into a sim period here. We'll make up a little bit of time. Korpisalo, not too bad so far. Markstrom, not too bad so far. So it's not really the goalies that are a concern at this point. Tkachuk, Duchene, Puljujärvi, only 2 points. The second line's a bit quiet, so we are already going to make our first change. Third line not doing too bad. Fourth line doing all right. Jesus, Habermoff, 3 goals. Stenlund, 6 assists. That's not a very bad start at all. So moving forward here, in this episode I want to get to probably the All-Star break. I think the All-Star break is a good point. And in the next episode, we will go to either the trade deadline or the end of the season. So moving forward, we have 2 consecutive back-to-backs coming up here, moving into November. But where do we want to go to? Let's go mid-month, November 15th, and we will see just how the Nordiques are doing at that point. 16 games into this new season, we have a 9-5-2 record. Things are looking all right for us. But the main problem right now is, as you can see, like we'll win a couple games and we'll get shit on. We'll win a big game, we'll get shit on. We'll win a couple games and we'll get shit on. That is our big issue at the moment, which hopefully we can settle things out. We are in first place at the moment, which again is nice. We haven't seen that too much throughout this series. The main question is, like, just what can some of these young guys do? Can they really turn around? Lutzer's already up to an 85, which is good. The hope is that eventually Duchesne is reduced to this role, and then we trade him and bring in somebody else. And right now that plan is looking like it very well could happen. A big concern, though, right now is the backup goaltending. Markstrom. I mean, he is a legend in this series just for what he did against the Penguins alone, but he really needs to prove himself in this next 15 to 16 day stretch here, however long we stem ahead. And we'll actually see how many games is he going to get. He'll get at least the Toronto or Detroit game, and then we have another back-to-back here and another. So Markstrom will have 3 games because we will once again sim to the 15th, this time to the 15th of December. Markstrom will get 3 games, and at that point, if he hasn't turned it around, he will be out of here, and we'll maybe look at making some other changes as well. So let's keep this going. Can the Quebec City Nordiques stay in first place? I certainly hope so. We've hit our target date, and we currently have a 19-18-4 record. Now, we're still having some trouble. Again, 3 wins, 2 losses. 2 wins, 2 huge losses. 8-5 to Montreal, 5-4 to Buffalo. But then we get an 8-0 shutout win for Markstrom. Korpisalo gets a 3-0 shutout over the Avs. A win, a loss, 2 wins now in a row. We are in first place in our division. The Pittsburgh Penguins making it a race, as are the Devils. But the big problem now hasn't necessarily been consistency. It's been injuries. Seth Jones has missed some time. As you can see right now, Kevin Stenlund is out hurt, as is Ralph Jarrett. And I made the difficult decision to bring up Craig Lowry, who otherwise would be in junior, rather than screwing with the chemistry in Cleveland by calling up somebody else. So an interesting decision. Lowry hasn't been too terrible. He's just kind of been there. He has played in 9 games so far, so he hasn't killed us, which is nice. I was hoping he'd get a bit more progression. As far as the goaltending goes, Korpisalo's up to a 91, a 919, which is lower than what I expect for him. Markstrom, he picked up a shutout, but he still only has an 898 save percentage. But I'm going to stick with him for now. We're 31 games in. I want to get us to the All-Star break, and then we'll make our decision. We are just about... Wow, it's actually a late All-Star game. It's on the 31st. So we have a month and a half to go before we get there. So let's get to it, and then we'll take a look at Markstrom's stats, and that will probably be the big deciding question, unless something else major happens, which, fingers crossed, players can stay healthy. Now, we haven't reached our target destination. In fact, we have only simmed 4 games further, 2 wins and now 2 losses. Markstrom loses 4-1 to the Islanders at a 21-10-4 record. That is good enough for first place. We were 10 points up over Pittsburgh. That is now an 8-point lead. But I'm going to make the decision, and it will be the last thing we do this episode. Markstrom, he bought himself some extra time because of what he did for us last year. Korpisalo's bounced back. Markstrom hasn't. He has to go. And I will give you a quick look at how everyone else is doing. Tkachuk, great. Duchesne, great. Laine, great. Ehlers, okay. Not great, but okay. Same with Dalcall, okay. Puljujarvi, okay. And that was a big thing. Who do we have on the top line with Tkachuk? Is Puljujarvi or Laine? Best lines has it be Patrick Laine, so that is why he is there. Third line, Timashov, 17 points. Not terrible. Isaac Lutzer, 13, isn't awful. Kagorodov, though, has been disappointing. He has spent time on the second line left wing and just hasn't been that effective. So that is concerning, and he was one of the big question mark players. What could he do? Another one of those guys was Abramov, 9 points on the fourth line. isn't terrible. 10 for Kadiles and 11 for Kevin Stenlund. Just remember, though, that he missed playing time. The defense, Erik Karlsson's doing okay. Jones, doing all right, considering he missed time. Chychrun, very happy. 7 points, but a plus 14. Savard as well, doing all right for us. Ralph Jarrett, even. I don't really see the need to get rid of him at this point. I mean, he does not have the best stats. There's no denying that we could go out and get somebody better. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep rolling with Ralph Jarrett. He's earned it, and Julius Bergman has really crafted out a good spot for him. Don't talk about him too much, but he's exactly what we need. A solid presence on that third pair. But yeah, moving forward, as we approach the trade deadline in the next episode, if I see to it that Ralph Jarrett just isn't good enough, we will look to get somebody better. Probably just somebody on a one-year deal at that point. But let's now look for a goalie. Line A leads the league in points, and Tyler Toffoli's in second. Oh, man, Tyler Toffoli is in second. But oh, my God, Wennberg's there, too. They actually did really well last year, Toffoli and Wennberg. Detroit's using them together. As you can see, Wennberg doing very well so far. He finished with 71 points last year. I knew I'd forget to show you guys something. That was it. 71 points for him. Toffoli finished with 58. So I was kind of kicking myself over that. But then again, I am, well, not necessarily happy with Larkin, but happy with who we ended up getting once we used Larkin. So anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. We need to find us a goalie. We will do this live for the hell of it because it will be the last thing we do in this episode. Garrett Sparks is another possibility. They signed him to a one-year deal. He's only played in 8 games, but he's a very strong possibility. Ramos in 81. Carter Hart is someone else I was looking at. He's still on the last year of his entry-level deal. I'd really like to get Carter Hart. That'd be good to have another young goalie. James Reimer doing very well for Florida, and we could afford to pay that contract for one more year. Varlamov will not happen. So let's see, what are these save percentages cutting off at? Because we don't want to go too far down the list. Picard, obviously, a 930. Samuel Montembeau, a 930. Jani Juvonen. Vieni Vefalainen, another old name from the past. How good is Montembeau? Oh, I'm thinking Sparks, Hart, or Reimer. James Reimer, 23 games, a 934, so he definitely has the biggest sample size. Hart probably has the best future, and Sparks right now would be the consistent presence. I want to take a look. Let's see what Sparks' trade value is right now. Because last year it was kind of out of control, but now that he's a 27, it looks like it's dropped a little bit. What do we have from Markstrom? What's his value? I'm not afraid to give up picks right now either. So Markstrom isn't worth too much. We would have to give up a little bit to get Garrett Sparks. Looking at Carter Hart, and that's about equal. That is about equal, and they really have no reason. Well, he is their backup right now, but then again, they still do have Neuwirth. And then Reimer is still on Florida and is currently their starter, and he obviously has the lowest value of them all. So the goalie with the highest sample size and the best save percentage. Do we go with Reimer? But then again, he is their starter. So, man. Oh, boy. Sparks, Reimer, or Carter Hart? I got to make a decision because I don't want this episode going on too long. Carter Hart, but then again, he'd be getting better, and it'd make sense to get Reimer or Sparks because they could be a backup for a long time, and we wouldn't have to worry about Hart technically being a starter. But then again, if he does get better, it'd be great for us. Now, they're not going to take that outright. Of course not. So we will look to add whatever we can here to try and make this work. And I don't think any of these prospects are really going to work. And I don't want to give any of them up either. So we will go to draft picks. We, of course, have a ton of seconds from our off-season business. Can we do Markstrom in a third for Carter Hart? Will they take that? They won't. Okay. Do I want to overpay? Our second round pick, because this should be a low second round pick. And then can I, English, add on this trio of picks? No. How about the 4th and a 5th? How about just the 4th? God damn it, Philly. You're pissing me off. The 5th and the 6th, please. Don't make this episode go any longer than it has to. How about just the 6th? No. Just that? No. Okay, well, James Reimer, your option number 2. We might not even have to give up the second round pick for him, which would be nice. Reimer for Markstrom. That would almost go outright. Can I just tack on a 5th to make myself feel better? Please? No. Straight up? No. Okay. I don't necessarily blame them for that. How about we tack on a Carolina 5th? That'll do it, right? God damn it. By Carolina 5th, I meant Calgary 4th. Don't you know? Calgary 4th. Son of a bitch. Come on. And again, this is why I don't do trades live. God. Oh, all right. A 4th and a 5th. Come on. Markstrom, a 4th and a 5th for James Reimer. Look at that value. Look at the... Anaheim's 3rd. Thank you. Whatever. I don't care. Markstrom in a 3rd, to Florida, for James Reimer. Nobody shed a tear over Markstrom going, which is pretty telling. James Reimer is the new backup, and we are getting him early on enough that if it were to go wrong, we could just trade for a different goalie. So whatever. We have the draft picks. We can use them. James Reimer is back in Canada, and he will be our new backup goalie behind Joonas Korpisalo. Guys, this episode has gone on long enough because of that debacle. That is it for this one. We are in first place, and hopefully it stays that way. We need some players to step up, and we will see if they can do that in the next episode. But as always, I do thank you guys for watching. If you have enjoyed, like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff that you guys are always good about doing anyway, and I do appreciate that. I will see you in the next one as we sim up to the trade deadline and are hopefully still in first place. I just jinxed this whole series. We're going to miss the playoffs.